With days just before the NBA draft lottery, what if the Mavericks actually won the lottery? We'll discuss it and break it down coming up next on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, along. His disposal. That is, of course, our national NBA insider, Mark Stein.
Oh, we're good now?
Oh,
all right, we got to do the whole intro again.
For some reason, the scene was muted.
So they didn't hear a single word I just said. But
Start over.
We
Guys,
have...
I shouted out my Oregon Trailheads.
Yeah.
And that wasn't recorded by the internet?
No, you're not going to do that again.
Didn't understand a word of it anyway, so we also could just move on.
Okay, so Oregon is
Sarah
a state.
says it's back. Sarah says
I
it's
said
back.
no devices, just vibes. Tim said that's a phone, and then I said no devices, just vibes. Tim talked about the Oregon Trail, and it's raining outside.
Well,
That's
I said
right.
Vices.
But Sarah is here, as always.
That's
Reliable Sarah, first to confirm with her sources that our audio is back on.
And
I'm a pretend Mancunian, so give me all the rain.
I think
give me all the rain.
I think we should gaslight them. All of you had your computers on mute. Our sound was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
actually
your fault.
It's your fault.
Unmute your device.
Low Star said, good. Start over. Word
And
for
also
word.
make fun of Bobby because you have an device that's on mute and Bobby has no vices.
Okay.
You're right.
Well, I did say someone who has all the devices. That is our guy, Mark Stein, of course, our national NBA insider, all the devices at his disposal to give you the latest news in and around the association. But, gentlemen,
I hope there's a sourcing call. No sourcing call yet, but I hope the phone rings.
We hope there's a sourcing call so you could just walk across the middle of the camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna trip one of these days. You
can literally just walk around and not have to,
the real estate in this room is
It's actually easier to walk around in the studio
than it would be in our other one. But don't worry about it. We'll see what happens throughout the course of the show over the next hour here. We got days left, gentlemen, before the NBA draft lottery. In fact, on Monday, May 12th, we will have the 2025 NBA draft lottery. We will see where these teams will be picking as far as the NBA draft is concerned a little bit later on in the month of June. So with the Mavericks right now currently holding the number 11 pick with a 1.8% chance of moving up from number 11 to number 1. Mark will appreciate this note. The NHL draft lottery happened last night, and the New York Islanders moved up from number 10 all the way up to number 1, and then Tim Cato splashed water on the whole thing. Said, by the way, they had a 3.5% chance of moving up from number 1 or number 10 to number 1. Is that correct? 3.5.
so twice as robust as the Mavericks of Dallas.
A little bit,
Yeah.
Yes,
But I mean, it's still possible. It's still plausible that the number 10 seed or ranked person in the lottery moved up to first.
and it happened for the New York Islanders.
That's not Dallas.
unless they used up all the luck. I mean, we've done Tankathon, right? And the Mavs have not moved up once in keeping perfectly with their lottery history.
In fact, they
0
moved
for
down
12.
yesterday when we did it yesterday in our NBA
And
Tankathon.
look, you guys know I am a hockey fan, and my Sabres. I just did this math, and of course now I don't trust my memory. I think my Sabres had a top 4 pick 4 times in a span of 7 years. So not to put a damper on the parade going on for Islanders fans right now, and I don't know if there are any Islanders fans in our chat. I'm going to guess no. But in hockey, it's a number 1 pick, a number 2 pick, a number 3 pick. They don't have the same impact in hockey that they do in basketball, unfortunately. You would still want it, obviously. My Sabres are picking 9th. I would much rather pick 1st, obviously, but
For sure.
it is a different world.
Ray Jack asked a really good question. Maybe we should. Well, no.
We'll get into that a little bit later on.
Do we have time later?
Yeah, we'll
You
have
wanna
some.
just do it later?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll have
yeah,
some time later.
We've got a lot of shows.
Yeah, we got a
between
lot of shows before the
But it's a
NBA
really
draft
good question. Who represents Dallas at the lottery?
Yeah,
But
we'll get
trust
into that.
Kevin. He will steer us there
I got you.
at some point this show or this week.
So let's get there.
Don't know if they decided, but I'm going to try to find out.
Oh wow,
Ooh.
You might have-
Sourcing call?
Yeah, right. Sourcing call already.
No call yet. Like I said, I just have a bad feeling I'm going to trip one of these days.
Okay. Well, don't wish that upon yourself. But the Mavericks fans, I'm sure, are wishing that they could hopefully capture the flag, potentially, even with the slim chance that they do have. So let's play a little game I like to call Would You Rather here on the DLLS Mavericks podcast. And we're going to throw out a couple of scenarios, and I want to get their guys' thoughts and your thoughts as well on what could potentially happen if this scenario played out. And we'll start with the most pie-in-the-sky scenario that is available out there for the Dallas Mavericks, gentlemen, and we'll start here. Would you rather, gentlemen, the Mavericks, if they won the draft lottery, would you rather the Mavericks keep the number 1 pick in draft and capture the flag with Cooper from Duke, or trade the number 1 pick for, let's say, I don't know, Giannis, Kevin Durant, or somebody else, Amin Thompson, according to somebody on this panel, for the number 1 overall pick?
Oh, I don't think Houston would actually make that trade, but
I don't think they would either, but
yeah.
Would you rather keep the number 1 pick and draft Cooper
Easily
flag or
Cooper.
trade it?
Cooper. Yeah, it's there's no scenario where Cooper doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not the one making that decision in this hypothetical 1.7% scenario. If it were
1.8.
1.8. Oh my
The
god.
Bulls are at 1.7. Take that, CHGO.
because of a tie break, right?
Yes. Mavs win the tiebreak to get .0001. What did they get? 0.01?
0.1.
0.0, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't make me do math at this hour.
A lot of the chat already saying and agreeing with Tim Cato in terms of draft Cooper flag. So a lot of folks in agreement with you. Bobby?
If Giannis is on the table, I'll take Giannis, but otherwise,
Ooh.
I suppose there's always some 25-year-old that is not content in their current situation that you could maybe woo or could whatever, but I'm not trading that pick for KD. To be honest, I couldn't tell you everything there is to know about Cooper Flag, but I could tell you a lot to know about Giannis, and I like that guy. So I would really, really, really have to consider doing that. But
Do you think the
otherwise,
Bucks
I don't
would do
think-
that deal?
Yes.
I have no idea. Maybe.
Yes.
You think the Bucks would do that deal?
The problem is you also have to send out like $50 million in salary, and so that's just where it gets pretty tough.
Yes. Yeah. That gets very complicated. Even though Giannis makes 50.
I don't know. I
Or
think he
makes
makes like
62.
60, but
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
so the
you have to send out a lot.
Yeah, so the first round draft salary slot only makes up like 12 of that, so it's tricky. I think it'd be justifiable to trade the number 1 pick for Giannis based off this team. I think, in a weird way, if you put yourself in Nico's brain and all the logic that he has used over the past year to make decisions, I think there's a arguable case that they should draft Dylan Harper first overall.
Oh, wow.
In Nico logic, in Nico world, where they need a fill-in point guard desperately to stay afloat, and that's the best, most ready now. Now, is he ready enough? I don't know. But, if it's a cleaner fit, and everything about this team has been, everything about Nico logic has been, extreme short-term planning and overpay or make go against the grain to make moves that immediately fit and fill holes and needs on the team right now. And I think
then what they would do then is trade down to 2 and get another player.
Yeah,
they
because
have
you could
multiple
still
holes to
get
fill, I
Harper
think.
there. You get a haul for the number 1 pick and then move to 2 and then take Dylan Harper there at 2.
Depending on who's there, obviously.
Yeah.
Or who is picking at 2.
but so if you're number 2 and that's what's going to happen, why would you make that trade with Dallas?
Because someone else would move up and get him.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want that person to get Cooper Flag. Could you imagine if the Mavericks actually passed on Cooper Flag and took Dylan Harper at number 1 if we were to go with that scenario with the Mavericks?
And Cooper fits better as the 3 next to this too big alignment than PJ does.
Okay.
I think.
Well, let's go to our next one then before we take our first break here. Bobby, I'll start with you on this one. If the Mavericks move up but don't get the number 1 pick, would you rather use it or shop it?
Through Nico lens, I would rather shop it. I think even through my own lens, I'd probably rather shop it. I just don't think building a 2 timeline thing whenever your 2 best players, depending on what you view Clay as, whether you're 3rd or 4th best player, most of your best players are on the other side of 30. I don't know that bringing in a 19-year-old that's going to need some years makes a lot of sense. If they take a 19-year-old and then look to get younger, I think that's fine, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. I guess the one question I would have is, like, let's say you move up to 3 or 4, because I think teams are pretty happy to get Cooper Flag and Dylan Harper.
Mm-hmm.
If you get up to 3 or 4, unless someone is really, really high on some guy or some guy rises through the process or whatever, I wonder what you could get. Like, I don't think you could trade the 4th pick for Giannis,
Sure.
or even maybe an all-star level player. Who knows? Maybe you could. But depending on what you could get back, I would shop it for sure.
Okay. Tim, would you, if Mavericks move up but don't get the number 1 pick, would you rather use it or shop it?
I think realistically, shopping it is what's right in the context of the team and what they're trying to do right now, because the team's not rebuilding, so the choice is to maximize what happens now, and for everything we talked about yesterday, for all the difficulties it is to survive half a year without your all-NBA or all-star level, near all-NBA star guard that makes a lot of this team tick, to survive those 50, at least 50 games, likely to be 50-ish, 50-plus games where you're just not as talented and you're going to struggle to keep up in the standings. That's your best path if you move up, trading that pick to get a roster that's can be competitive without Kyrie, and also hopefully, ideally, functional with him.
I mean, generally, rookies that are picked super duper ultra mega high aren't going to take you to the playoffs. Now, it has happened. Obviously, I'm aware that it has happened. But even like the Mavs, the most recent time that they were super high in the draft, they got Luka, and they had almost the same supporting cast. Granted, they added KP, but they had a lot of the same players that they had the following season when they were playing at a 50-win pace for most of the year. But that year they won 33 games or whatever it was, with Luka. Like, rookies just generally aren't going to put you over the top, and the Mavs' stated goal is to win the title. You can't win the title if you don't make the playoffs, and in order to withstand that time without Kyrie, you got to win games. So trading the 4th pick for a really, really solid veteran, I think, is oftentimes a good thing to do if you're trying to make the playoffs, especially if you already have an older team. But I know there are a lot of fans that want the Mavs to get younger soon. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I guess, we'll find out here in about a week what's going to happen.
It gives you an idea. If it gives you an idea of what these mock drafts are kind of looking like, just for example, I pulled up CBS Sports' mock draft, and their latest one has the Mavericks, of course, at number 11, selecting center Derek Queen out of Maryland, who goes 6'10", 246. As far as the pick,
that's a built-in Gafford trade projection kind of thing.
Yeah. The write-off being that he could very easily be the off the board early, but probably will be if some teams find a better fit that presents itself there. But there's some playmaking ability that they believe they could help out with the Mavericks. But yeah, I would imagine if you draft the center there at 11, Daniel Gafford potentially becomes that much more expendable. But again, that just gives you an idea of what some of these projections could look like as we get closer to the NBA draft. But we will find out on Monday when the NBA draft lottery occurs. We'll have our watch along as well during the NBA draft lottery, and we will react right along with you when we find out where the Mavericks will officially be picking in the 2025 NBA draft. Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, if you could take one role player from the remaining 8 teams left in the playoffs and put them on the Mavericks right now, who would it be and why? We'll discuss that coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
I know it's practically flooding outside, but the sun will be coming, and you need to get ready. You need to get ready for the summer ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. And they have lost or broken replacement guarantees. If your shades ever go missing, they take an unexpected hit. Don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. If you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair. You can return them worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deals of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Sometimes, even if you love your building and even if your home is just perfect, sometimes if it rains a little too hard, things can happen. Water can get places it's not supposed to. That happened moments ago here at the DLLS Sports Studios. But you know what? Our Empire Today flooring, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. That flooring is going to withstand all sorts of disasters, whether you're falling to your knees as a Thunder fan after Aaron Gordon breaks your heart, or the roof is collapsing because of all the rain. You can always count on Empire Today to catch you safe and sound. With Empire Today, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. So if your floor is damaged and you want to get some new stuff in there, you can schedule a free and home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount using promo code DLLS, a $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DLLS for full details.
If you could pick one role player from the remaining 8 teams in the NBA playoffs to place on the Mavericks, who would it be and why? We'll discuss that right now here on the DLLS Mavericks podcast as the Eastern Conference and Western Conference semifinals roll on, gentlemen, with some serious superstar role players that have already made their presence felt so far in the West and the East semis. Let's just jump into it. After watching the New York Knicks be able to go on the road to take a 1-0 series lead with their win over Boston, we saw the Denver Nuggets go on the road as well and beat Oklahoma City in their game 1 of their best-of-7 series in the West semis, with performances from guys like OG Anunoby, Aaron Gordon, and others who are already making their marks on this postseason. Let's just jump into it. If you could take one of those role players and place them on the Mavericks right now, who would it be and why?
What's a role player?
Not Jalen Brunson.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Jason Tatum then.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Tim.
Jaden McDaniels.
Oh, okay, from Minnesota. Okay.
Think so.
And why are you putting him on the Mavericks?
Because he's good. He's really good, and I don't think he's quite good enough, unlike OG Anunoby.
At his current contract number?
Sure, why not?
We're waving a magical wand on this one, I think, Mark.
Yeah,
If you,
I can have a consider contracts as well answer for you. Just give me a second. But yeah, that's, if all we're doing is considering contracts, and like Ty Jerome, but we're also doing a magic wand, like put him on the team. Like Ty Jerome's gonna get paid more, but he's not right now. So then there's layers to this. Yeah, maybe Ty. But yeah, I'd say
By the way,
Anunoby's too good.
By the way, Jaden McDaniels, real quick, sorry, on a 5-year, $131 million contract right now for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
He's worth it though. He's really good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mikal Bridges and OG might both be too good to be considered a role player. If they're not, it would be one of them. But Jaden is definitely like a level down from those guys. So that would be my answer too, I think. I mean, I don't want to just agree with Tim outright though. So I will say Derek White, much to Celtics fan chagrin, is not an all-star.
Okay.
Drew Holiday isn't anymore. So for this Mavs team, you know, in order to withstand Kyrie's absence, maybe having a little more playmaking. Obviously, White and Drew aren't just like true point guards at this point in their career, but they can handle the ball. They can shoot. They both defend. Derek White, that rebound he got last night was just unbelievable. That dude is a freak. He was stuffing Mavs centers at the rim in the final last year. Drew Holiday is one of my favorite players ever. So, you know, I would say it would be Jaden McDaniels if Tim didn't go first. So for the sake of disagreement, give me one of the Boston guards.
You got to choose one.
Oh, my God. I guess for age reasons, Derek White, but my heart is telling me Drew Holiday.
Interesting.
I just love Drew Holiday so much.
I'm interested to hear Mark response to my answer because I'm going to go with Aaron Gordon.
That's who I was going to go with.
Ooh.
Look it up.
But if after I played contract police on Tim, you know, we do have to note that, I mean, I love Aaron Gordon and I love Caruso, but even Caruso is, you know, he's on a good extension, but you do have to factor these things in.
How many power forwards can the Mavs have, though? Aaron Gordon is such a beefy boy. He can't play small forward.
I think I would find room for Aaron Gordon. I mean, he's won 2 playoff games in the 2 most distinctive ways you could probably do it. I mean, a game-winning dunk at the buzzer, then hits a game-winning 3 to be able to beat the Thunder in game 1.
And also, if I had that magic wand, I might wave it and say, AD, you're a center. Please believe us. You are.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that. I
there
like
you go.
AD, you're a center.
80 Aaron Gordon front court that's pretty nice.
It's pretty monstrous. But the versatility of Gordon for me, I think, is what puts it over the top. I mean, he can guard multiple positions. There's a lot of things he can do in terms of rebounding. He's got enough range where he can shoot from 3, incredibly do it. And he just does everything. He does all the little things. He does some of the big things that you need to. And I think that's the kind of player that you look at a championship roster and say, I want that guy.
Well, it also gets your attention when didn't Jokic say last night that Aaron Gordon's the best teammate I've ever had?
Oh, wow.
Something to that effect. Unless I saw, I mean, I guess I could have been duped by a Twitter overstatement, but I think there was some sort of comment to that effect last night. And look, we know whether he said it to that degree or not, we know Jokic loves Aaron Gordon, and that does kind of get my attention.
I would spend hours and hours and hours during off seasons back in like 2018, 2019, 2020 scheming to try and find ways the Mavs could get Drew Holiday, who was then wasting away in New Orleans, or Derek White, who was then on I think he left the Spurs before they got good again. He was just kind of languishing there too, and I was like, man, those 2 guys helping out Luke and KP on defense and offense, oh my God, they would be so good. And I haven't let that go. So even though both those guys are a little older, whereas someone like McDaniels and I think even Aaron Gordon are younger, I can't let that image go. But I think McDaniels is the perfect player for what the Mavs need, because he can defend ones, which they desperately need, especially at the point of attack. You know, these bigger body 2s and 3s that can handle the ball, but also he can shoot and play small forward on offense in ways that maybe, you know, even like PJ necessarily can't always do. I feel like McDaniel's a little more consistent as a shooter, maybe a little more limited offensively, but they don't necessarily need PJ's dynamic stuff. They just need the more boring stuff.
Sure.
I mean, there's really no wrong answer, though. I think every team, you know, like there's guys on the Pacers that I would love.
I'm about to say, there you go. That's
Nembhard's
unbelievable.
Nembhard was in my brain when I ended up going.
Nembhard is so good, dude.
Nembhard so far in his postseason career from 3, 45 of 88 from the 3-point line.
He is a absolute menace.
Actually,
in your face.
Nembhard might be the answer.
Yeah.
Good call.
I thought about him over Jaden.
It's crazy when you think about like he and Nesmith together. That's like together they're both sub 20 million salaries.
Yeah,
and like
not fair.
When you do that, in team construction, like it is just. I mean, it's not like winning the lottery, but it's like it's so vital.
Yeah, and I had this conversation with someone that I used to work with too. Is we were talking about like, okay, who can the Mavs get that would be this feisty defender?
Mm-hmm.
You know, their own version of, Scottie Pippen Jr. on Memphis is not to that level yet, but he could be maybe one day. somebody that's like that. You always want to be early and not late. Like
Sure.
you don't want to have to overpay for Alex Caruso if you can find the next Alex Caruso, right? And Neesmith and Nembhard were two guys that I was like, those are the guys. But at this point, they're too good to get now. You can't get them anymore.
Yeah. You mentioned Nembhard's playoff shooting. He had a weirdly bad shooting regular season and career 34%.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs, he is the all-time career leader in three-point percentage.
That's incredible.
51.1%.
Yeah.
So,
And he was a second round pick, right? Or like very into the first round?
31st overall.
31st overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Mavs would be picking in that range this year. That's fine.
What happened?
Well, they traded that pick
For
a guy. Granted, Caleb Martin does fill. He's not the same shooter, obviously, that Nembhard is, but he does provide that point of attack defense. Unfortunately, the Mavs didn't really get to see it down the stretch. But I think that this team needs point of attack defense and shooting. And there are some guys that fill those needs on other teams, and I feel like the Mavs have really missed that guy. Even in the regular season this past year, they missed him, and they're definitely going to miss that guy next year. Playing without Kyrie for as long as they are. So, ultimately, they're going to have to find someone that can fill that void.
Any other names that we have not come up with so far that you feel like could make that? I know you mentioned Ty Jerome, potentially from the Cleveland Cavaliers, as well as another guy that could fit well in terms
Aaron
of
Wiggins.
I love Aaron Wiggins, dude.
Yeah.
And he's making like $3 million a year. So just like it's like 8 or 9, but still just unbelievable. Aaron
Or
Wiggins is
Case and
really-
Wallace.
Yeah, I love Case and Wallace too.
Who Dallas
Case and Wallace
would've-
to me is like the next Drew Holiday. It's
Yeah.
I love those
That's
kind of guys.
interesting that you say that, because who was swapped for who in the NBA draft when it came to Derek Lively and Casey Wallace? Those two were swapped for each other.
Dallas would have drafted Case and Wallace or potentially Cam Whitmore if Derek had risen further. So
I loved.
that was their they liked all three. They considered all three players worthy of the 10th pick or the 10th overall pick, and so it was just a matter of Lively. I think being highest rated of those three for them, but also obviously fitting an enormous need. And despite his injury troubles, I don't think there's any what do you call it? Second guessing that pick. Second guessing.
Yeah, no regrets, man. Lively's great. I think Lively is tough to say because everything in OKC is going so well right now, but it feels like Lively's a little further ahead in his development than Wallace is. So no regrets there, but I did love watching Case and Wallace. But again, biased. I love those like 6'4" guards that will defend guys 6 inches taller than them and win those battles. Like,
Yeah.
I just love those guys.
I think to your point, that speaks to just about time and opportunity, because Lively had the opportunity immediately to be able to step in and really help out this team from a front line standpoint. Case of Wallace, obviously the plethora of guards that they've got already in Oklahoma City, maybe not necessarily all the opportunities that he could potentially have somewhere else. It just shows you where a player goes, and the situation could depend on the opportunities that they get to be able to have that kind of impact.
They're going to be going on playoff runs for every year of his career.
Yeah.
And so, like, when he's 27, he'll have probably been in like 2 or 3 finals and played 100 playoff games. It's like he's going to have so much experience. He's going to be like the wisest, sagest 28-year-old we've ever seen.
Yeah.
You are known for your strong opinions about incoming rookies. That is kind of your calling card.
With one in particular, yes. Well, really 2. Luka and Omax.
No others?
I don't have a lot of strong opinions in general.
What'd you think of the Brunson
I have a
pick
lot
when
of
it
weak
happened?
opinions. I loved the Jalen pick. I loved the Jalen pick.
I mean, last night
I never
we'll
considered
yeah.
him getting in the second round. Honestly, I thought someone's going to take him at 20 and be very happy.
Yeah.
I never thought he'd be there at 33, and he was. And I was like, I can't believe. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That draft night was the best night of my
No,
sports
it's like
life.
I know we're going to get to playoffs, but like everybody's talking about Boston taking too many threes. They missed 45 threes. Are they crazy? And I'm just looking at the screen going, the Mavs had Brunson and Luka.
Yeah, they drafted.
Don't make Tanner sad, okay? Don't do that. Don't do
And
that.
according to a different Bob, not this Bob, a different Bob, they could have had McHale too. But
Oh, wow. Okay.
that's what he says. That's what he says.
Superstar role players playing their role for these playoff teams. If you could have one for the Mavericks, let us know when it comes to the Mavericks. Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, we'll dive into some of that NBA playoff talk, where the Boston Celtics set a dubious record last night, while Jalen Brunson and the Knicks were able to get it done on the road. We'll jump into that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs podcast. But sometimes we know that it's difficult owning property. But Own Well can help you take care of that, especially when it comes to paying your property taxes. Overpaying on property tax is something that you should never have to worry about. And with Ownwell, they could help you take care of that because they believe when it comes to paying property tax, you should only pay what's fair. With Ownwell, they handle everything from start to finish. They deliver top results as well. There's no upfront cost, and you only pay if you save. 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of over $1,100. So put property tax money back in your pocket in just minutes by signing up with Ownwell. The deadline to protest, of course, is just 9 days away on May 15th for most counties here in the state of Texas. Save money on your property tax with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. Again, that's OWNWELL.com/DLLS today.
Well, on Sleeper, you cannot predict whether players will miss more or less than their projected threes, but you can on the makes, KG.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you believe in the Celtics in Game 2, well, you can hop in there and put in your prediction because on Sleeper, you can pick whether your favorite or least favorite Jason Tatum players will record more or less than their projected stats each and every night. The app is always going to keep you up to date on the latest injuries, news, analysis, and so on. And it's not just limited to basketball. Stars kicking off their series tomorrow. You can go play some hockey. Heck, you can do esports, you can do racing, baseball, WNBA starting up. There's all sorts of fun that you can have on the app, and you can do it each and every single night. Sleeper, the more you pick, the more you win, all the way up to 100 times your money. So if you want to play along, put your ball knowledge to the test, download Sleeper today. Use promo code DLLS Mavs whenever you play $5 to get $55 in free plays to use anytime. Does not need to be on your first pick. Just check the terms and conditions before you do, and download Sleeper today.
Let's jump into some NBA playoff talk here on the DLLS Mavs podcast as the Eastern and Western Conference semifinals are underway, including last night we saw a pair of game ones where both road teams were able to get the win. We'll start. Don't spill the water.
That wasn't in the microphone.
I'm just saying, just don't spill the water that you already have because you almost did that yesterday. But let's start on the Eastern Conference side of things and the aforementioned Jalen Brunson that we were talking about last segment. The New York Knicks go into Boston and get a 108-105 win on the road over the defending champs to take a 1-0 series lead and steal home court advantage in their series. Jalen Brunson with 29 points helps the Knicks be able to get the win on the road. OG Anunoby with 29 points himself. Mikal Bridges getting the game-winning steal, or game-saving steal, I should say, on Jaylen Brown to end that game. Jason Tatum had 23 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists in the losing effort after the Celtics had built what was a 20-point lead in that game in the third quarter. The Knicks, Mark Stein, come storming back to not only win game one, but as I mentioned, steal home court advantage. And a lot of the conversation will be the fact that the Boston Celtics missed a record 45 three-pointers in their game one loss to New York. But obviously, some other things stuck out for you when it came to that game.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we've got one of my former Bally colleagues at the controls today, off screen, RV punching the buttons. But so it reminds me, and I thought of this last night. I actually did an essay for Bally Sports Southwest when Brunson first left the Mavs because this is history that it might just send Bobby under the table. 1998. The Mavs do not have a great draft history, as we know. They never move up in the lottery. A slew of missed picks, but when they do hit in the lottery, like they get a double dose. 1998, June 24th, 1998. I will never forget the date. They acquired the draft nights to a 7-foot German named Dirk Nowitzki in a draft day trade with the Milwaukee Bucks, and swung another draft day trade to acquire the rights to Steve Nash, 2 former MVPs in one night. And, of course, only one of them finished his career as a Dallas Maverick, Dirk Nowitzki. 20 years later, they do a draft day trade with Atlanta to secure the draft rights to a Slovenian named Luka Doncic. In the second round, early in the second round, they outright select Jalen Brunson for themselves. They have neither on the roster anymore. And I guess that means in 2038, it is going to
mark your calendars.
I said mark your calendars.
In 2038, DLS Mavs, when we do our live draft show at Happiest Hour, it's going to be rocking
Oh,
to
man.
see who are the two future greats that the Mavericks acquire that night.
Put it on the 20-year schedule. Put it on the 20-year calendar. But Presti was spectacular last night. I mean, he did overcome missing what would have been the game-winning shot against Boston. But, Bobby, last night, it was funny because I was watching the game, and she saw me watching the game. She's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you yelling at the TV? I'm like, because Boston won't quit shooting. Like, she cares. Like, Boston won't quit shooting all of these three-pointers, missing 45 of them, and they go down 108 to 105. But Jason Tatum last night, especially late in that fourth quarter, could not buy a three-pointer to save his life, much like the rest of his teammates, and was not able to come up clutch when they needed him to because the shots just simply weren't falling for Boston last night.
Yeah, I just spent last segment telling you how much I love Derek White and how much I love Drew Holiday. I'll spend the rest of the segment talking about how much I love Jaylen Brown and Al Horford and KP and even Sam Hauser after I tell you how much I can't stand Jason Tatum. I just don't. I'm a Jason Tatum hater, unabashed. I won't apologize for that. I'm a Jason Tatum hater till I die. JTHFFL. I don't think that he took a single good shot. I'm not sure. I guess all of his good games happen on the games whenever I'm not watching.
Because he cooked in that first round
Yeah,
series
man,
against Orlando.
He was just, I thought he settled. I mean, the rest of Boston shots, honestly, don't really bother me. If you shoot a lot of threes, sometimes you're going to make a lot. Sometimes you're going to miss a lot. It is what it is. You shoot a lot of layups. Sometimes you're going to miss a lot of those too.
You have to have recognition to switch mid-game when it's not going well. But to your point, they've been playing this way.
Yeah, I mean, they won a title doing it last year.
It's like,
so,
I mean, like, this is what they do.
But you also can't say, all right, well, I missed 3 open threes in a row. The next one probably won't go in. If I'm open, I shouldn't take an open shot. Like I don't think you can do that. But I thought the issue down the stretch, especially for them, is that Tatum had Brunson on him and was pulling up for 3. Tatum had a big on him and was pulling up for 3. It's like you could probably get past that guy. I mean, Boston was able to just cook the Mavs in the finals last year because whether it was Luka or Kyrie or whoever your favorite player was, if you hate one of them, the other one was getting cooked too. Tatum and Brown were just mercilessly getting past those guys and then kicking it out, and it was ball movement leading to either open catch and shoots or dunks. But I thought he'd settled for some really awkward-looking pull-ups late in games. He had a disastrous last shot. He had a pass to Jaylen Brown that honestly maybe should have been a shooting foul, but it wasn't. But I don't know what he was doing on that possession either. He just looked really out of sorts. I thought that hurt Boston more, and obviously, the Knicks hitting some big shots too. I'm not too worried about the number.
I was just in LA for Game 5, which is truly one of the finest hours in the Minnesota Timberwolves playoff history. They have their 2 trips. Speaking of 20 years apart, 2004 they make the conference finals. Last season they make the conference finals. The Wolves, until beating the Lakers, had never had a year where they won even one series. The only years they won series were the 2 years they went to the conference finals. So last Wednesday night, they come into LA, they end the Lakers season in 5, send them home. Rudy Gobert turns into Moses Malone for a night. But the Wolves shot 7 for 47 on threes in that game.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop shooting them either, even though that was the one thing that was key. Their three-point shooting kept the Lakers in the game. I just think in today's NBA, players are so conditioned that these are the shots we want. That it's.
I mean, the Celtics shot the Knicks back into that game,
but it's hard. But I'm not defending it because even Jaylen Brown said after we got to stop shooting damn threes when we're that cold. But it's I just think it is so drummed into your thinking as a player that this is the optimum shot we want that it's hard I think it's just harder in the moment for them to make that recognition and get away from it.
Yeah, but if it's an open catch and shoot and opportunity and you don't take it, then your possession dies. If you have the advantage, you have to shoot it. I guess the issue would be maybe you don't spot up, but then you just have a bunch of dudes in the lane and it's impossible to do anything. I think the bad Celtics threes are the Jason Tatum crossover for 13 seconds and then jack up some horrible looking jumper that clangs off the side of the backboard in the fourth quarter. That's a really, really bad shot. But a catch and shoot Derek White 3, I don't care if you've missed 10 in a row, keep shooting those. It's just you have to be judicious. And against the Lakers, they have no bigs go to the basket. There's no, Ant, why are you taking 15 threes? go to the basket. Luka's on you. Beat him. Cook him. So I think it's like judging the quality of the shots. But on the whole, most of their shots I thought were good looks.
The Knicks outshot Boston by more than 20% behind the arc, and it took overtime for them to lose. If you give up 63s to the Boston Celtics, you are not winning another game in the series. Point blank, period. Celtics in 5. Not even slightly worried.
I agree. I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's a bad games. Yeah,
the Knicks have some questions, man. Cat out there, I don't know. A great agenda. A great day for the agenda if you are a Jason Tatum hater and a Cat hater. And I will not identify who it is, but he's smiling right now.
By the way, Kristaps Porzingis.
Wait, what? I don't know.
What?
You? Is there a known Cat and Tatum hater?
Yeah, me.
Oh, okay.
He's talking about himself.
Why'd you say it like that?
I like Cat, but the foul! Oh my God! Videos just get me every time. I think he's a little corny. Jason Tatum obviously is the king of cringe.
There's that as well. Kristaps Porzingis left that game last night with illness. Was not able to return the game, which is notable because he had missed several games with a mystery illness that he was not able to necessarily diagnose until it was found that it was just an upper respiratory infection is what they wound up calling it. So interesting note to watch there when it comes to Boston. But yeah, it was just highly annoying watching Boston clank 3 after 3 after 3. But to Tim's point, it still took overtime for the Knicks to win that game.
The Knicks shot well from 3 too.
And they shot extremely well from 3.
You're not gonna see that exact thing happen again ever, probably in your life.
I mean, what is it like for you guys to watch Brunson?
I love JB. I mean, it's awesome to watch Jalen. I love him. He might be my favorite player in the league.
I think the thing that still gets me is that I just can't believe he's this good. Like,
and he gets better every year.
Yeah,
like nobody.
It's that Dirk trajectory, dude. Like he just always adds something.
But nobody saw this. Like nobody.
He's very mechanical, like Dirk, and that's obviously a massive compliment. When you watch somebody play basketball and you think, if you ever think this person has mastered his version of basketball, and to your point, it does feel like he keeps getting better. But everything Jalen Brunson does feels so meticulous and planned out and thoughtful and craftful, and Dirk was like that. It's equally awesome to watch guys who are just purely talented and so athletic or just so innately skilled that they can just improvise on the fly and it works out. That's a really cool thing to watch too. But I do have a sweet spot for watching players who you can just see how much perfection went into the way they succeed.
I actually just thought of this as a story, and I really need to do it. It's like, obviously, no player in NBA history has done more from their draft position than Jokic being the 41st pick and then becoming one of the all-time greats. But, like, does Brunson have a chance to be second on that list? I mean, Manu's obviously up there as the former 58 pick, but, like, I really need to do a research study on second-rounders who just...
I said corny with a C. I just want to make that clear, John. Sorry. Sorry.
Super John Zesty. He misheard you.
Listen to Father John Misty maybe sometimes.
Yeah, but the Knicks storm into Boston and get that 108-105 win to take a 1-0 series lead. Excited to see how this will continue to play out, but I do expect Boston to be much better in game 2, especially from the 3-point line, to give themselves a chance to even up this series before it heads back to New York.
Mark, by the way, Ben Wallace, he was undrafted. Is he, where does he fall on that?
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean,
in the mic.
He's a Hall of Famer. So he has to be in the conversation. I wouldn't say he's a better NBA player overall than Jalen Brunson. But no, he's
someone who came to mind.
It's like that. That's why, like, on memory, there's no way I'm going to remember every single second rounder or undrafted player who did amazing stuff. So that's why I was actually making a note to myself that I need to write this up but like Brunson, 33rd pick, like the dude is
unbelievable,
just a monster.
Michael Finley nailed that one.
They got it right on that one. Let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, let's shift our attention to the Western Conference semifinal game from last night where the Denver Nuggets walk into OKC and get a huge win on the road. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
But first, nope, back to me. Back there we go. It's Die Hard time, folks. You scan the QR code beneath Mark Stein or click the link in the description below the video or go to alldls.com. You can sign up to become a diehard and support what we're doing here at DLLS Sports. We're almost 23,000 strong on YouTube. In fact, we might have gotten there this morning. I have not looked yet today. We're growing every single day here, but our legion of diehards is growing ever stronger as well. What you get when you sign up is you get a free shirt of your choice. We got more than 40 designs to choose from, including a few more star shirts that we're rolling out as they head into round 2. I'm very excited about that. Discount on any other gear, discount on merch. You get to join the DLS Diehard Discord. You get your physical diehard card. You also get to read the website. And Tim,
Did somebody say physical diehard card?
oh my
did.
God!
Oh, look at you, Stein.
I need Shady Rays to block that shining golden reflection.
Okay, listeners, if you're listening, if I'm talking to you right now, if you are listening and you do not know what I'm talking about, the DLLS 2024-25 Mavericks exit survey.
Ooh.
If you're listening, you want to take part in
article.
it. If you are sticking with it, well, it's not really the article yet, but go to alldlls.com right now. It's the first link. Doesn't matter if you're a diehard, because what we're doing right now, just giving you the link to take part in this survey. We will talk about the results starting tomorrow. We'll publish the results.
Let
we'll
your
have
voices
all
be
of
heard.
that. But if you are listening and you do not know what I'm talking about, or you have not done this, go to alldlls.com right now. It will take you 2 minutes. It'll help our show. It will help you because it's something to talk about.
Yep. And at DLLS, our mission is to make it more fun to be a sports fan, and that means that we got to hear what the fans think. So we're trying to speak for y'all on behalf of y'all, and so we're trying to elevate your voices, and this is definitely the loudest way to make your voice heard is by taking this survey. So check it out if you can.
Make sure you visit alldlls.com, become a diehard member today. The quickest way you can support us here is to like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports and join the nearly 23,000 subscribers here and join our DLLS Sports family. Let's finish up here on the DLLS Mavs podcast today. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, at 12 p.m. as we are every day right here on DLLS Sports. We'll get to the Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder from last night's game where check this out. The Denver Nuggets overcome what was a 9-point deficit. They were down by 9 with just under 3 minutes left. They win. Aaron Gordon's three-pointer with less than 3 seconds left delivers a win for the Denver Nuggets. They take a 1-0 series lead. They steal home court advantage over the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, of course, had a fantastic season, which was rewarded for Sam Presti, who was named the NBA's Executive of the Year today. He received 10 first-place votes to be the NBA's Executive of the Year. Kobe Altman, Trajan Langdon of Cleveland and Detroit, respectively, were second and third. Just in case you were wondering, Rob Pelinka finished outside the top 5, and Nico Harrison did not receive a single vote in this year's NBA Executive.
Sam Presti had first time he's winning that award.
Oh, wow.
That is pretty remarkable. But yes, you trade for Luka Doncic and finish 6th. I did find that a bit surprising. But let's also not forget, Executive of the Year, these are peers voting for peers. So there's always, it's not a media vote.
So the award is like who does the best job.
And that's the other thing. Like it's never specified. Like, is it just from July 1 through the trade deadline, or is it past years? Like, it's not really clear what the criteria is. And again,
Is it who's like most skilled at making these moves?
I don't know
Who exhibited the most talent? Because there's nothing difficult about the Luka trade. You just said yes.
So he didn't do anything there finessing the Mavs that he only had to give up Max Christie and
I think everyone is
one
just,
first in AD.
Everyone is angry about that.
100%.
I think that's a reflection of
100% angry about it, but
Yeah.
he did more than answer the phone.
They went
he
to coffee.
said yes.
Yeah, they
He
right.
answered the phone and he said yes.
No, he answered the phone, had to pretend like conceal his laughter,
Right.
and
and said we can't trade you both of our first round picks because
he might not sign an
might not sign an
extension.
Luka might
extension,
not
right,
sign
exactly.
here, and the Mavericks said okay.
A player might come to LA and be like, I don't want to live here anymore.
Right.
I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, his best move was finally listening to JJ, who kept showing him Mark Williams pick and roll defense clips and being like, "Oh, he's hurt. Oh, we have to take it back."
Extraordinary restraint.
that's
These
right.
are jokes. These are jokes.
Right.
These are jokes. Especially since Mark Stein is here at the table. These
Yeah,
are
we're just-
100% jokes.
Yeah, we're
This
just
is not
laughing it
based.
off.
I'm not actually saying that's what happened.
General Gale says in the chat, the executives are all mad at that trade as far as Luka Doncic.
Now that there might be something to that.
Of course, Presti's Thunder went 68-14 this regular season, the sixth best record ever in the association. That didn't matter last night because Nikola Jokic put up his first
Say
ever.
it again, Danny Collins.
Danny says Mavs media needs to hear directly from Patrick Dumont in a news conference.
Good shout.
Shout out to you, Danny.
Well, how about this? We're gonna do a secret press conference with no audio and video recorded, but you're invited, Mark Stein. Does that work?
Oh wow.
It does not.
I would say that joke doesn't land for my guy today. Probably not, and probably not ever. That 68-14 record though didn't matter last night. Nikola Jokic had his first ever 40-20 game last night for the Denver Nuggets. As I mentioned, they storm back and take Game 1 on the road over the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 121-119 win. Nikola Jokic going for 42, 22, and 6 assists last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 33, 10, and 8 in the losing effort. But, gentlemen, the Denver Nuggets, after what was a bloodbath of a series against the Los Angeles Clippers, they are the ones to go on the road and get it done last night over the Thunder to take a 1-0 series lead.
I don't know. This doesn't really change my opinion that the Thunder are going to win the series pretty easily. But
Well, you know what the old adage is: the series doesn't start till a road team wins. This series is underway.
It shouldn't
But-
change your opinion because it's only game one. But I mean, I idiotically thought and said out loud on a radio show last night that there's no way the Nuggets can win this game. Joel Lorenzi of the Oklahoman, he ran the stat a few days ago. In this century, teams that had a game 7 and then had to turn around and play game 1 on the road were 1-14 in this situation. So I
Wow.
didn't think Denver had any chance to win. Now the Thunder had only played like 5 games in 22 days, so I guess Rust beat Rust. It was Rust 2, Rest 0 last night. It's really Rust 3, Rest 0 if you throw in the Cleveland opener. But that was a gargantuan win for the Nuggets, and I would have loved to have been sitting with you guys had your favorite team fouled intentionally with 11 seconds to go when Jokic, in the middle of amassing, what was it, 42-20 and what?
42, 22, and 6.
So while Jokic was in the middle of amassing that, Jokic is out, and
on
the
the
Nuggets have no timeouts.
on
Let's
the
intentionally foul, and Jokic comes back in the game. Like that was... Yeah, that was...
How does that land for the analysts, Bobby Corella?
That was-
Fouling
That's moronic. That's losing basketball.
Mark. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it was just can't do it that soon. Also, Shea, you can't dunk that. Got to run it out.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Oh, pull it back out and not score at all.
But also make a free throw. But also like
Chet
I
missed
mean,
2
come
free
on,
throws.
My God, man.
I mean, there was a lot that went wrong.
Everything else went wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong, but still, it's like,
Fouling up 3 in the backcourt is that's a
See
see
loser's
that MVP
move.
over there? Let's keep him out for as many more seconds as we can.
Even if he's in the game, wait until they cross half court. Like, what are you doing? Man?
Yeah.
That's just horrible.
I didn't understand why they fouled so quickly twice. They did that twice, fouling that quickly, not allowing a lot of time to run off before committing the fouls when they were up 3 in those situations. But the one that a lot of folks are obviously talking about with Nikola Jokic sitting on the sideline with Denver obviously not having a timeout, then the Thunder fouling to allow not only Jokic to get back to the game, but obviously you're just extending the game more and more as you continue to foul as quickly as they did. And I just thought, as Bobby said, just bad strategy by the Thunder. Mark Dagnall acknowledging that after the game was over, saying that's on him in terms of the strategy of them fouling up 3 the couple of times that they did. But I would like to give credit to Denver for what they did last night, because Aaron Gordon continues to be just fantastic in this postseason. Had a game-winning dunk over the Clippers, then hits the game-winning three to be able to deliver the win for the Nuggets. So give him a lot of credit, man. That's a difficult place to play, and to get a road win there, and they did it in game one. So
road teams never won all 4 game ones. Do the Warriors complete the sweep tonight?
No,
No.
they're exhausted.
Well, that's what we said about Denver. Did you think Denver was winning? I mean,
I didn't think Denver was going to win.
I could not imagine a scenario that Denver won that game last night. Going in.
The Clippers certainly would not have. Zero chance if they had won Game 7 that I'm thinking that team goes in there and wins, even though I thought going into the series.
Some rare James Harden hate from you.
Yeah. I like James. I mean, I'm not denying that his postseason record, I don't think it's as bad as some people say, but it's pretty glaring. Like, I think I take that back. All those bad moments there's a lot of bad ones. I think he has more good moments than people give him credit for. And I think some of it is indictment on a style that ultimately didn't work as well. Only really worked when Chris Paul was there to like fully do two-stardom. And then what happened? Westbrook got hurt, and it went back to 1 star. Anyway, we don't need to go through James Harden. For Oklahoma City, I think all the questions people are having about Chet and Jalen Williams are fair. About just what is the peak of their impact in the postseason. 28 minutes for Chet, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks. But I think that the big thing about Chet is he ever going to be somebody that really gets guarded from 3? It's nice to be able to shoot threes, and certainly shoots a lot of them. Shoots a decent number and makes a decent number. He was 0 of 3 tonight. Is he ever going to be someone that, is he just kind of a luxury shot maker, from deep? And then if he doesn't change the way defenses guard him, and he's not really a mismatch hunter, not that good of a mismatch hunter as of yet. Certainly, we've seen struggles with size. Players can go right through him. Aaron Gordon did. Still certainly a good shot blocker, but more of a weak side shot blocker than somebody, he can be challenged at times. And then Jalen Williams, I'm less worried about him. I think he'll come good. I think it's coming, but he has a habit going back to the Mavs series last season of just not quite being as good in the postseason. Still really young. That's something that happens. Had a couple sweet buckets in this game, but only at 5 in total. Shot 5 of 20, 16 points on 20 shots. That's always a concerning thing. So, yeah, I think Chet is where I have most of the questions, though.
This is tough because it's his second. I mean, it's really his second season, and he missed a bunch of time this year too. I mean, so it's hard. I think that's what makes it pretty compelling that these guys are still. Even Shea is pretty young, but like Chet and Jalen Williams are still so young, and they won 68 games. So like they're still kind of learning what playoff basketball is, and they're probably supposed to win the title. It's like expectations and reality is just kind of like they're at this weird intersection. So we'll see. But yeah, Jalen Williams last year, I was kind of unimpressed with him against the Mavs because it really felt like they were just sitting on the 1-2 elbow pull-up, and he wasn't really able to get anything else than that. And if you can just sit on one shot and then contest it, it kind of gets tough. And then it was really hard for him to get anything else outside of like fast break shots and things like that, broken plays. So I think I came out of that series last year thinking, man, that guy needs some counters, and hopefully he adds them for this year. But we'll see if he does, as the series goes on. Like, you got to be able to show more and do more and diversify and mix it up a little bit. And, if they can't, they could be in trouble. But also, they probably win last night's game 92 out of 100 times. So it's kind of like Boston. Like, let's see how game 2 goes.
Yeah, I like Gunga and Jacob are talking in the chat about, comparing Chet and Porzingis, and I think that's pretty apt. And
Chinggis Hompingus?
With the obvious, and obviously the big difference is KP stretches defenses. You go guard him out there, and Chet isn't there yet. And then
Chet, they don't have to,
yeah, and so it's luxury big man stuff, and I think there's questions around that anyway.
Battle of 2 MVP candidates in that series looks like it'll be a lot of fun moving forward. That'll do it for us today, though, here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. I sincerely appreciate all of you joining us here on our program. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Appreciate Ryan hanging out with us today and doing his thing, helping us out here. Also, don't forget, we'll be back at 12 with our National NBA Insider, Mark Stein. You can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. That's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Curl. That's our Mavericks writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.